It began on a humid September evening, just after dusk, the kind of silence that feels wrong. The air was heavy, the skies strangely still.
Grabe, ang dito nun.
Then, without warning, the heavens cracked open. By 9:30 p.m. local time, monster Typhoon Ragasa had made landfall. Within hours, cities that had bustled with life were reduced to waterlogged wastelands. Streets vanished under raging torrents. Glass panels ripped from high-rises and rained down. This was a nightmare that looked like the opening scene of a disaster movie. Except this time, it was terrifyingly real. The typhoon struck southern China with ferocity few had ever witnessed. With sustained winds exceeding 150 kilometers per hour, Ragasa ripped into Guangdong, turning towns into unrecognizable ruins. In Jiangmen, entire neighborhoods disappeared beneath floodwaters overnight. Concrete walls crumbled and homes disintegrated like sandcastles under a relentless tide. Schools and hospitals, places meant for safety, were drowned in chaos. Patients were rushed out on stretchers, carried through waist-deep water as mudslides swallowed roads and bridges, cutting off entire regions from the outside world. The storm spared nothing. In Shenzhen and Zhongshan, shards of glass rained from high-rises like a deadly storm within a storm. Massive billboards buckled and collapsed onto crowded streets, injuring passers-by who had nowhere to run. Power lines snapped, exploding into sparks as floodwaters surged through the streets. For hours, these cities weren't just paralyzed, they were consumed by chaos. Along the coastlines of Yangjiang and Zhuhai, the ocean itself rose to wage war. Waves taller than houses smashed relentlessly into harbors and ports. Fishing boats were torn from their anchors and hurled onto shore like discarded toys. Nearly 40,000 workers from offshore platforms and shipyards were evacuated in a desperate race against time. Families huddled inside their homes, listening in horror as tin roofs ripped free and vanished into the darkness. Hong Kong faced one of its darkest nights. By midnight, towering gusts ripped apart signs, hurling them onto highways. Storm surges devoured the shoreline, leaving once bustling areas submerged. At Hong Kong International Airport, chaos unfolded as more than 120 flights were canceled or delayed, stranding thousands. Families slept on cold terminal floors without food, water, or updates. Ferries, trains, buses, everything stopped. On Lantau Island, winds screamed with such fury that terminals were forced to shut down as crews scrambled for safety. A city known for its resilience was suddenly brought to its knees. Meanwhile, in Macau, the neon glow of casinos flickered and died. Streets are filled with wrecked cars, while basements are flooded beneath the city. Tourists, once drawn by glitter and glamour, were trapped in hotel lobbies as one casino after another slammed its doors shut. For nearly 24 hours, the city was held hostage under signal number 10, the highest tropical cyclone warning. Trees were torn from the ground like weeds, road signs twisted into metal ribbons, and terrified residents were trapped inside powerless elevators. The storm's true horror revealed itself in the countryside. Rivers swelled like monsters unchained, bursting their banks and swallowing farmland. In the mountains, landslides thundered down, threatening to erase entire villages. Rescue teams battled the storm itself, wading through chest-deep floodwaters to reach stranded families. Some waved frantically from rooftops, others clung to floating debris. In Guangdong and Fujian alone, nearly 900,000 people were evacuated, while over 3,500 emergency responders were deployed to fight against the storm's destruction. Yet, even with such efforts, transport across dozens of cities collapsed. Flights were grounded, railways suspended. Bridges snapped under the pressure. Families were left stranded with no way out. But the most haunting images weren't just of broken buildings, they were of broken lives. Videos flooded social media, over 20,000 homes damaged or destroyed. Cars dragged helplessly down torrents like paper boats, power poles bursting into showers of fire, children crying in the arms of soaked and desperate parents. For the elderly, the sick, and the poor, Ragasa was merciless. International voices sounded their alarms. China's Meteorological Administration warned of further flooding and landslides, even after the storm had passed. The World Meteorological Organization highlighted climate change, noting that once-in-a-century storms now occur in Asia every few years. The United Nations issued a grim warning. Storms like Ragasa don't just destroy homes, they shatter food security, crush economies, and dismantle entire communities. Yet perhaps the most chilling truth is that Ragasa's shadow still lingers. Hundreds of thousands remain displaced, shelters bursting with families who have nowhere to go. Transport networks are fractured. Aid groups are struggling to provide food, water, and medicine. And while the winds have calmed, new dangers loom: shortages, disease outbreaks, and the long, painful road of recovery. Monster Typhoon Ragasa wasn't just a natural disaster, it was a revelation, a reminder of how fragile we truly are against the power of nature. It was a storm, yes, but also a warning. Because here's the haunting question: if Ragasa is only the beginning, what happens when the next storm arrives? Could your city survive a force like this? Tell us what you think in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe for more real footage and stories, and stay connected as we uncover the truth behind the world's most devastating disasters. Because if Ragasa taught us anything, it's this: the next storm may already be forming, and none of us may be ready.